The Parshas Chayei Sorah, Shiva Tiferes Avigdor, Shnas Tovshin Ayin Ches. One of the major stops that a person goes through in his life with himself and with his children is the parsha of Shiduchim. And the parsha of Shiduchim is a very exciting one for people whose children get married easily, and a very challenging one for those whose children don't get married so easily. And there are many different schools of thought, and there are many dating coaches. Yesh Oimrim, you should take care of business for pleasure. Some say pleasure before business. Some say you should start earlier. Some say you should start later. Some say you should sign up by as many shadchanim and shadchanis that you know. Some say a few shadchanim and a few shadchanis. Some say if you have a problem, if you're too short, if you're too tall, if you're too fat, if you're too skinny, if you have too much yichus, you have too little yichus, you have a lot of money is a problem, if you have a little money is a problem, if you're not such a great person it's a problem, if you're not so healthy it's a problem, if you're depressed it's a problem, if you're too excited it's a problem. It goes on and it never stops. This one's too talkative, this one's too quiet, this one's too trendy, this one's not trendy enough. And everybody, the world has to suffer from everybody's indigestion on this subject. Whatever people ate for breakfast, lunch, or supper, they regurgitate it on their tabletop of opinions, and the blind lead the blind, and people march through the world not knowing what to do. And they seem to forget that Shiduchim is not an American creation. It's not something that was made recent. It's not technological. It's been around since time immemorial. And there's an entire parsha of finding shidduchim. And in those parsha, it says everything about shidduch. And whatever the parsha doesn't say openly, first of all, the Chazal say openly, at great length, very important. So the first thing I want you to know is as follows. So many different aspects to discuss here, it's very hard to figure out where to start. But the first place we're going to start is the theory of what kind of hishtadlus and whether you need hishtadlus in shidduch. So the people who are far away from Hashem all sing one tune, Of course you have to have a shtadlis. Nothing happens without his shtadlis, which is the most ignorant statement ever said, because when it said in the pasuk, the source of ishtadlis, b'zeh sapecha teichal lechem, it doesn't say that you're supposed to b'zeh sapecha find a shidduch. It doesn't say anywhere that Hashem only gonna bless you if you do something. It doesn't say anything about that. The only ishtadlis that a person should be doing in shidduchim is fixing himself up or fixing herself up. And as my Zayda once said to some chacham, said, if you don't have to make ishtadlis, what difference does it make if the guy takes a shower before the date, or if he doesn't take a shower, or the lady combs her hair, or doesn't comb his hair, or the guy comes with his shirt out or his shirt in? So my Zayda said, that's the minimal ishtadlis you have to do. You have to wear clothes, you have to wear clean clothes, you have to try your best, even though it doesn't make a difference. I know a guy who I read a shidduch to, and shidduch was coming along very nicely. The girl was a spiffy kind of girl, and he was a kind of guy that is upkalos. He didn't care, nothing fazed the guy. I told him, when you go out with this girl in the shidduch, make sure you go out like a mensch. Get a clean shirt. He said, I wash my shirts. I said, to one shirt sent to the cleaners, so it comes to looking crisp. Because I know this girl's going to be looking at your shirts. And I said, take a shave beforehand. They'll come like a mensch. Lo and behold, the guy goes out with the girl. I called the girl up. The girl said, what do you think of it? How do you think the shidduch is for me? The guy came with a shirt that I haven't seen more creases in his shirt in my lifetime. The guy came with a hat that was filthy. The guy came with a shave, at least a 2-day shave. I mean, the guy was like, mamash, a shlump. I said, I can't believe it. I don't want to tell him, I told him before not to do that, but he was the kind of guy who did the right thing. I called the rabbi, I said, are you yutz? I said, why didn't you do it? He said, I'll tell you a funny thing happened. He says, I went to shave, and my shaver broke. I couldn't shave. So I figured, what should I do? I could have borrowed a shaver. It's not so important. My shaver broke. I'm mechbenoinus. He said, then I went to look for a shirt, but a bach was supposed to pick up my shirt from the cleaners. The guy never picked it up. So all I heard was a shirt at the bottom of my laundry bag. So I pulled it out. One of those the cleanest. I put that one on, and the Bobby saw the creases. He said, it looked like it was a stickle style. I said, put it on. He said, then he went to the day, he put Shabbos hat on, and the Shabbos were flying off into a puddle of rain. So he comes with a mud, he says, everything that I want to get. So I think a big deal. I told the girl, Baruch Hashem, they're married happily ever after, believe it or not. But, you see, there is some ishtadlis you have to try to make to come like a mensch, but people people really believe they're in control. I recently read a shidduch to somebody, and the mother told me, before we start this shidduch, I want to tell you some of my rules. I said, okay. The first rule, I don't do shidduchim fast. I said, how many have you done? No, this is my first one. I've never done any. But I don't do them fast. I believe them a long time. I said, you want to tell me I tell you what I believe? Let me suggest you should follow what I believe. I believe, let the Rebbeinu Shalom be in charge. Let him decide when it's time to get engaged. And why don't you just get out of the way? So all you can do is mess things up for yourself and for the couple and for me, make me unhappy. He said, well, that's a point, but I still have my way. That's how people are. The first approach to shidduchim is, your shidduch is chosen for you by Hashem. That's what your shidduch is. You must understand that. I don't care if you're short, you're tall, you're fat, you're skinny, you're healthy, you're not healthy. Somebody out there for you, unless you can't get married. Here's a parent called me up from another state that he had a child, and the child is very depressed, learning in Lakewood, and because every shidduch falls through. And I say, why does the shidduch fall through? Because my son goes out with girls, he's very attractive, very geschmacky guy, a decent fellow, but he has a medical issue. Would you speak to him? I said, sure. So he came from Lakewood to see me, drove over here. I sat down, I spoke to the guy. That was a handsome looking fellow, blonde guy, blue eyes, very distinguished looking guy, American look he had. And I said to the guy, yeah, what's the problem? He tells me. And I said, are you allowed to get married? Based on your issue. He said, I think so. I said, who do you get a sack from? I said, what I'm going to tell you to do is first thing is first. Go immediately, get your records, medical records, go to Reb David Feinstein and present him with your records and ask him if halachically you can get married. If he says yes, I'm going to tell you how to proceed now. I'm going to assume he's going to tell you yes. But if he tells you no, you have to know, you have to prepare for your challenge of life in a whole new way. There are people that halachically can't get married. That's Hashem telling you that your place and your matziv is not to get married to a regular person. That's for sure. But this fellow, I said, I'm going to assume that you can get married. Reb David Taka made a psak that he was able to get married without a shaila. And then I said, now we take it to the next step. The first thing is, you got to get out of depression. No one wants to marry a depressed person. Second of all, you got to stop believing in Hashem. Your shidduch, the 9 girls you went out with already, I said, are all, when not one of them was for you. Now I said, what does that mean? He said, what can I expect because of my issue? I said, I'll tell you what you can expect. Probably the girl that you met, that Hashem has in mind for you, the way she is, you would say no. Maybe her nose is a little bigger, maybe her ears are a little bigger, I don't know what. Maybe your eyes come out a little bit. I can't tell you exactly what it is. But there's something about her that maybe you would say no. And Hashem is preparing you by just going out these 9 girls, getting rejected, and figuring out maybe to lower your standard, your gaiva a little bit, and maybe then you'll be able to accept the right shidduch. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. He met a girl, Baruch Hashem. She didn't have big ears, she didn't have big eyes. She had a problem that she couldn't drive. Because she wasn't able to drive with her eyes. That was the whole problem. And he starts calling me up and beckoning me. I said, what's the problem? I said, next to your problem, she's as healthy as a bull. You're the Chayei Sorah over here. What are you hacking over here? What do you want from my life? And she started asking him, you think you could have children? You think this? This girl is a very, very professional, very big profession, very high chashiva profession that she has. So I told the guys, Hashem gave you the prepared life. We had to push the guy to the wedding, but he got married. They had children, Baruch Hashem. I see from that the pshat is, you have to realize that there's no such thing. People makabel upon themselves. I have a problem, I can't accept the shidduch. Like somebody called me that a child with a medical problem, and therefore you're not getting normal shidduch. I said, maybe the shidduch that's for you, you don't want to accept. Should I take a divorced person? Do I have to settle for divorce? I don't know what you have to settle for. But I would understand that Hashem is sending you these shidduchim. They're not coming to you from nowhere. And people looking from under the earth to try to dig up how to create shidduchim. Don't do that. Let HaKadosh Baruch Hu bring the shidduchim. Shadchanim do not help you. Shadchanim won't help you. At the most, Shadchanim, Hashem will use them as a shliach to deliver you the shidduch. But the shadchan is not making you a shidduch, not getting you married, not convincing everyone. Everyone tells me I have a story. This guy, the shadchan pushed, the shadchan didn't push, this shit work this way. It has nothing to do with anything. You have to know people make and create their own tsaros over here because they're not relying on Hashem. In the Gemara it says, in Moed Katan, min ha-Torah umin ha-Neviim umin ha-Ksuvim, we learn out that may Hashem ish ish. That's what we learn out. Now, the emes is that in the Medrash, Sheicher Toiv, it says, in Perek Nun Tes, it says as follows. It adds something to this Gemara. It says, Boy ure'ei, come and see, kama kosher hu azivuk. How kosher azivuk is. Shemin ha-Torah, u'min ha-Neviim, u'min ha-Ksuvim, that it comes from Hashem, sheha-Kodesh Baruch Hu miyached shmoi al hazivuk. Hashem is miyached his name on hazivuk. And it brings the rest of the Gemara. Now the question is, what does that mean that Hashem is miyached shmoi on hazivuk? What does that mean to say Hashem is miyached? What does yichud Hashem mean? Yichud Hashem means we're all davening v'hoya Hashem lemelech al kol haaretz v'yoyim ahu yiyeh Hashem echad u'shemo echad. You know what that means? Shem echad? That someday it's going to be revealed to the world how everything is controlled by Hashem. Everything is Hashem. There's nothing and no power in the world besides Hashem. Everything, that's what's called Yichud Hashem. The difficulty in Shiduchim is, you know what? A shidduch must be a revelation of Hashem. If you allow a shidduch to reveal Hashem's name, that shidduch will come faster and easier. If you, however, get yourself involved and say, I don't like this, I don't like that, I can't take this, I can't take that, I want this, I want somebody who likes walking by the lake, I want somebody who likes fireplaces, I want somebody who's this Narishkeit, not Narishkeit. You're putting yourself in control of the matzav. You want to control the matzav? It's not Hashem being Yachad Shema. The kaishi is, because the more you stick your klufim, your claws in a shidduch, and the more you try to make a shidduch happen or not to happen, you're showing that you think this is al pi teva, you think this is something you can control, and the easiest way to get a shidduch is as follows. Listen to this because it's the best information you're ever going to hear. Don't rely on anybody or on anything for a shidduch. Just rely on Hashem. I once had a Talmud I told this to. The guy had a couple of strikes against him. Strike one, he was a Baal Tshuva. And he became a Baal Tshuva not when he was 10 years old. He was in his mid-20s. But he became a superstar. He became a Ben Torah. He threw himself into learning. Unbelievable. And now he was 27, 28 years old. And he said to me, Rebbe, what do you think about a shidduch? He said, it's coming. It's coming. I feel it's coming. It's going to come. I feel you're ready to do a shidduch. So one day I walk into one of the rooms over here, and I see he's filling out a whole bunch of papers. I look at the papers he's filling out. It says on top, Inve Agefen. I told him, what is this? He said, somebody wanted Mizakim to help him with a shidduch. So he told him to fill out a profile, a whole booklet, little booklet, the pages, his history, his parents' histories, his whole this, background, what he wants, what he likes, what's his favorite food, what's his favorite this, what's his... I took those papers out of his hand, I ripped them up into shreds, and I put it right in the garbage. I said, my dear Talmud, you want to buy Na'akav your shidduch? I'm telling you, your shidduch is coming. You have nothing to worry about. Your shidduch is coming. You believe in these papers? There's some guy over here, and then the guy was a shliach of the Satan, the guy. He's not helping you. It says, my Hashem yotza hadavar, shidduchim come from Hashem. By you putting your profile here and putting yourself online and going on in the books of some shadchan, what's going to happen to you? Nothing. Don't forget about this nonsense. Very short while later, somebody calls me up from New York. Said, do you have a shidduch for a girl? I have a girl who's 27 years old. Now another problem this guy had, that he was very tall. He was a tall guy, 6'3" or maybe. Another strike against him, so to speak, in the Ashkenaz world. He was a Sephardi, and about tshuva, and this and that. So I said, okay. So this person calls me up, I have a shidduch. Are you interested in this thing? I said to the person, let me talk to the girl. Have the girl call me. So I have a girl, a very chashuv girl, from a very fine family. I said, let's give it a shot. So I called the girl up and I said to the girl, well, what are you looking for? I said, all I want is an erlach boy. I said, do you care about the trimmings? She said, what do you mean? I said, I told you he's very short. Would that bother you? If it doesn't bother him, it doesn't bother me. I said, how tall are you? She said, I'm 5'11". I said, oh boy, 5'11". If he's 5'3", it won't bother you so much? She said, not if it doesn't bother him, it doesn't bother me. I said, would you bother if I told you he wears an up hat? He said, no, that doesn't bother me so much. What if I told you that it was about tshuva? Would that bother you? She said, as long as he's right now 100% erlich and frum, it wouldn't bother me. What if I told you he still has a little residue that bein azmanim, he likes to watch television? Yeah, that's a little bit, not a lot. She said, I don't think I can, that's something that I couldn't deal with. And I'm not looking for. I said, what if I told you that he was Sephardi? And what if I told you this? I told him everything about the guy. She said, no, fine. I said, my dear young lady, your gullus has ended. I have somebody for you. No, he doesn't wear an up hat. Yes, he is Sephardi. No, he's not 5'3", he's 6'3". I said, he's a wonderful specimen of a fellow. He's about tshuva, he's going places, and he's going to become he's going to be Tiferes Mokim in the Olam HaTorah yeshivas. He's going to be a chashuv yingaman, and your journey has come to an end. He went out, 1, 2, 3, and they were married. I told the guy, you see, you would fill out this Invia Geffen thing. You know what it would have been? That you would have been looking for it. You were looking in the wine, among the wine troughs, among the grapes. You were looking for your shidduch. What do you do? You have to let the shidduch come from Hashem. That's how you have to do it. Now there's two crazy stories I'm going to tell you. One that I had, and one that it's a mind-boggling story. The story that I had was, many years ago, I had a cousin who needed a shidduch. And his mother ran a seminary. And his mother wasn't bringing him any shidduch. And his mother used to be in our house all the time. And I said to her, I said, my dear aunt, why don't you read your son a shidduch? She said, I don't have a shidduch for him. I said, you have a whole seminary. Get him a date at least. The poor guy is desperate. I said, he's starting to feel a little behind the thing. Get him a shidduch at least. She said, I don't have one for him. I said, anybody can get the guy a shidduch. She said, okay, you're a big talker, you get him a shidduch. I said, I definitely will get him a shidduch. I will get him a shidduch, I said. I can't say it's the right shidduch, but I'm going to get him a date. That much I'm going to get him. So I went home for Sukkot. And after Sukkot, I come back from New York, and I'm saying goodbye to my mother, and I drive away, and all of a sudden I remembered I forgot all about the shidduch. I turned my car reverse, I beat, my mother's going in the house, I said, Mama, quickly, I need a name. Give me a name. One name of somebody. She said, name of what? I said, I have a sister that was like 20 years younger than me. And I said, that was a couple years younger than me. And I said, Ma, tell me a friend of my sister Chevi. She said, just tell me a name. I need a name for a shidduch. For my cousin. So I tell them the shidduch. I tell them, gives me a name. I said, okay, good, I have a name. I said, what do the parents do? So the mother says, the parents, they're public school teachers. I said, no, that'll never work. These are Shiva, the father's Shiva, they're never going to work. I said, okay, don't say nothing. I come back to Cleveland, and my aunt asked me, do you have a shidduch? I said, matter of fact, they do. So what's the name? I said, This is the name. And I give him a name. He said, go tell it to my husband. Go tell it to my husband. So I go tell it to the husband. He said, yes, what did the parents do? I said, I'm not sure. I never met the parents, so I'm not sure what they do. I never saw what they did. I said, Kitzer, 2 weeks goes by, my uncle calls me over. Is that interessiert? I said, you interested? He said, yeah. I said, did you ever find out what the parents do? He said, yeah. I said, what did they do? He said, the father owns a great jewelry store in Borough Park. I said, oh, very good. Okay. The kids to the shidduch went 1 shidduch, 2 dates, 3 dates. They're happily married for many, many years. They found out, and they checked out a girl who was the exact same name from a Beis Yaakov in Borough Park, whose father owns a jewelry store. But I read him one from Flatbush, whose parents were public school teachers, very erlich people, B'nai Torah people, very sheepish people. Hashem wanted the shidduch to go, and the shidduch went. They're living happily ever after. Now, the next story I heard, this is the craziest story I ever heard. Reb Reuven Elbad said over this story. Reb Reuven Elbad is a big Moised in Yisroel called Arachayim. The Baal Tshuva is a big yeshiva. He's a powerhouse, very interesting man. One of his Talmidim was holding by getting married in Yerushalayim, and to a girl, a Baal Tshuva, and everything was prepared. They're holding by the night of the chuppah, and a short while before the chuppah, maybe an hour or two before the chuppah, the chassan turns to his Rebbe and he said, Rav, ani lo yachol. I can't do it. He says, what do you mean you can't do it? He said, lo lamati maspik. I didn't learn enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not prepared to get married. Bishum inyan vayfim. He told him, what do you mean? You can't say no now. What do you mean? You're the good. We're at the chas already. Everything's set up. He said, I can't do the shidduch. Sorry, I can't go through with it. The guy lost himself. The guy didn't know what to do. And Reuven is not a push the guy. You know, they're not a pushover mensch. So what did he do? He wanted to, what is tell the collar, tell the this. So he walks into the collar, he tells the collar there's been a little delay. No worry. The delay equals, but the delay will take care of it. Meanwhile, he jumps into a car, he gets a ride to the stipler. Goes to the stipler's house, cuts the line, gets right in the front, there's an emergency, he gets to get in. He tells the stipler the story, and he asks the stipler what to do. What is the stipler? It's not only the stipler can do this. The stipler says, tell me, is there another bacher in your yeshiva that's similar to the chassan that you think could be matim for her, that could also shtim for her, like a similar personality? He said, what kind of question is that? What's your plan here? You know, you fool him, put them over the head, what are we going to do here? He said, starts to think, and he says, maybe. He said, yeah, I have somebody. He tells him the name. The stipler said, okay, go back to Yerushalayim. Tell that bacher that he's the chassan tonight. Tell him that's his zivug min hashemayim. Tell him he shouldn't be afraid. He should have no second questions. He should get married there because that's his bazuk. Only the stipler takes your thing. So the stipler said, if the bacher will tell you, I can't, I'm not shaykh. Tell him that I personally give him a bracha of bracha v'atzlocha. He's going to have a chayim me'usharim bebonai chayim mezoyim. No. So Reb Elbad said, I can't. I mean, the guy's maybe sleeping. I'm going to come back to Yerushalayim by now. Maybe the guy is sleeping. She said, wake him up. So what's the big deal? So then he said, aren't there halachic shilos in this? There's issues. He brought up the halachic shilos. Could you allow to do this? He said, for that, go to Rabbi Yashiv. And ask Rabbi Yashiv the shilos. And whatever Rabbi Yashiv paskin is what you do. Kitzi jumps back in the car. No. He goes to Rabbi Yashiv, He asks Rabbi Yashiv the Shailas. It's 11:45. He knocks on Rabbi Yashiv's door. They ask him what they ask him. He answered the halachas. Then he sends a shliach to the Kala to tell her just another little bit more patience. It's coming, it's happening. Savlanut, savlanut, don't worry. He runs to the bacher, to the dormitory. The bacher's taka sleeping. He wakes the bacher up and he tells him the whole story, Dvarim Kaviyasam. The guy said, "Well, I don't believe this is a dream. What's good? I'm not ready to get married. I'm not thinking of married." He said, "Listen, let me tell you something, my friend. You never get this brach again. You never get this brach." He spoke to him, explained to him, "Let me tell you, not to be vayish, Abbas Yisroel is going to be the biggest chus you ever had in your life." And he said, "I want you to know the Stipler and Rebbe Yashiv both gave you a personal bracha like none other." And the guy was masking. They took the guy straight to the mikveh, got him on a suit, took him to the olam. Areya mekudeshes li'bataba zu. They got married 1:00 that morning. And he says they've been living together for quite a few years now. Chayim u'ushar. Abois, let me tell you what the way to do with shidduch is. If you want a shidduch for yourself, for your sister, for somebody, tell yourself, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I acknowledge that you and the only you are bringing the shidduch. When the guy tells me I have no yichus, you know what that tells me? He doesn't believe in Hashem. When a guy tells me I have no money, tells me I know he doesn't believe in Hashem either. He doesn't believe Hashem brings shidduch. He believes money brings shidduch. Yichus brings shidduch. Connections bring shidduch. I'm out of town. Tell people, what are you? Out of town, there's no Hashem out of town. So what if you're out of town? Get your mindset that the shidduch is coming from Hashem ach v'rak. Don't rely on anybody else. Like the Maral says in Ber HaGoyla, Kol inyan hazivug einoi inyan tivi klal. It's nothing natural. Ki ein zivug ha'adam tivi rak min Hashem yisbarach. That means everything's from Hashem, but other things come derech hateva. Ve'ein bezeh ha'inyan hanhogas hateva rak upulas Hashem yisbarach. It's only a pulas Hashem yisbarach. Hishtadlis in Shiduchim, a Rebbe told me from his father, HaRav, was only, it's not usher to make hishtadlis, but it doesn't help. What it does is maybe it calms your nerves. People call me up, I have booklets, I have books, I keep a notes. My stomach starts to churn when I hear that kind of nonsense. That's usually a siman that Shiduchim is not going so easy in that family. And they're doing all kind of work. You have to know the Chazon Ish writes, and the Chazon Ish says that B'zman hazeh, even though we live in tremendous hastaras panim, and we live in a time you can't see Hashem, but in the area of Shiduchim, you could see ba'ayin u'b'chush mamish hashgacha pratis of Hashem. May Hashem yotza hadavar. Now, don't think I'm talking from a place of comfort. I had 10 daughters. When you have daughters, today it's a boy's world, or so they say. And I was tested. I called my grandfather up. My grandfather said to me, "How old is your daughter?" I said, "She's 16. He said, "She's ready." He said, "Be prepared for a shidduch." I said, "Tell my daughter, we're prepared for a shidduch." Now, what's because you're prepared? It doesn't mean I did anything. I waited. 17, 18, 19, till the shidduch happened. And then one day, somebody called me up. Actually, I had a big argument with somebody, with a relative of mine, who told me, "What am I doing about my daughter's shidduch?" And I said, "What I'm doing about it? I'm davening." No. You're speaking to Shadchanim, you're networking. I said, "No, you have a book. You're not giving a book of a cheshbon and come back to Yisroel. Don't you want to know the boys?" I said, "Are you out of your mind? How many boys there are? You know how many cousins my daughter has on her age, her old daughters were yeshivas, and everybody's living the same shidduch. Are you out of your mind? And she said, no, you're not going to find a shidduch. I said, you're wrong. I believe I will find a shidduch. And so she tried to convince me that I'm being silly and I'm making like a big tzaddik. I said, this is the facts of life. You can't change the facts. And I was much younger then, of course. And I wasn't sure, but I said, listen, it's my shita and I got to stick to it. That was a Thursday that I had a discussion with her. On Friday, somebody called me and read me a shidduch. I said, okay, we're going to drive in Sunday night and have the boy meet my daughter. We drove in Sunday to New York. They met at my parents' house Sunday night, and then again Monday morning, and by that time the shidduch was over, was finished. On the way back, we were joking about it, and then the person who fought with me on Thursday called me up. He said, I'm a chutzpah with you. You don't even tell me in the middle of a shidduch. I said, I wasn't. He said, yo, what does that mean? I said, the shidduch started Friday. Oh, right. Yeah, you said yes from Friday to Sunday. I said, why? He said, takes me weeks. I said, I'm a fast thinker. And then I remember when they got engaged, I called my parents up to they getting engaged. My father said, where are they from? I said, their parents come from somewhere in Europe. My father said, where did they daven? I said, in a shul. I said, what shul? I said, I don't know. I said, at the Vart, you can ask him all your questions. I'm sure he'll tell you, you seem like a pretty nice fella. I'm sure he'll tell you everything you want to know. You know where they stamp from? I said, Avram Avinu, just like me. We all come from the same Avram Avinu of us. And it came out, it was a very nice shidduch. It was like, what shidduch? I found that all the questions after we had the L'chaim, they came from Satner. That's where the background was. It was a nice Edel man, nice Edel people. And I remember my Zayda met them. He was impressed with them. It was also very strange when Zayda should say that. But I remember he telling me, these people are warm people. This is a fine dimension. I said, is that a mile? He said, yeah, that's a mile. It's a mile. I'm surprised because he never, in my life, I could never have such a thing. I said, how do you know? He said, you could see it on them, just by looking at them. And the second one, and the third one, and the fourth one, and the fifth one, and the sixth one, and you have all kinds of daughters. You have good ones, you have shvacha ones, you have this ones, that ones, okay. Hashem has a shidduch for every single one. And Hashem sends for everyone. And I never lost any sleep over shidduch. You have to realize that if you understand that, and you know that, Hashem will let Hashem bring it to you. Just be mechazik yourself. What could you do? Be mechazik yourself. Now it's funny because anybody davens for a shidduch, and what they daven for? I'm lonely. All my friends are married. I'm depressed. My parents are depressed. Everybody's depressed. I'm on these lists for college. I'm going up there. I'm getting schwach in my Yiddishkeit because my friends don't have Shiduchim. I'm getting iPhones. And that's not what Hashem wants to hear. That's called belly aching. Tell Hashem, you created me. We belong to you. You chose me a shidduch. I know you're going to bring it to me. Please, Hashem, you want me to get married. That's one of the purposes you created me for, was to get married. Please send my shidduch so I can fulfill your direction, fulfill your ratzon. And if a person does that, then a person, sometimes you see somebody fall into a shidduch and you feel, it's very, I've seen people get married, and I was able to see beforehand. They're heading straight for Hurricane Irma. Somebody once said, why do they call all the hurricanes by ladies' names? I said, it's not true. First, they have Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Andrew, they have other students. But sometimes a person gets married, and it's a challenging life. And you can tell the guy straight in the face, I want you to know this is what Jennifer, when the guy says, I'll be kid. And I think about Avram and Nakeda. They walk into that, that's what happens. You prepare yourself, you pass your test, you grow from it, you accept it, and your parents don't get involved. Now the shaila is, We have to find out, could a person zug up a shidduch? If Hashem is miyached is shmaya in the shidduch, does that mean the shidduch's happening against your will? And the answer is no. But we'll discuss that.